So what I'm going to show you today is a Thai green curry, and just a super simple way to do it. The real basics, and then you can kind of expand on it from there as much as you want to. But these are some real basic things we can get from the local supermarket, Asian grocers, or your local fruit and veg. So what we've got is some chopped up broccoli and cauliflower. We've got some zucchinis, some firm tofu. You can have firm tofu or soft tofu, and of course some green curry paste. Now you can make your own paste, but that's a whole nother ball game. So if you can just find a really nice paste at your local Asian grocers, can be vegan or non-vegan. I've chosen a vegan one, so no shrimp paste in there at all. Just a veg plant-based green curry paste. We've got some red onions and some coconut cream, some coconut milk, and some coriander and some fresh lime. So to get started, guys, we're going to get the rice going to start with. Just some jasmine rice. I've got 2 cups of jasmine rice in the saucepan there, and we just double the amount up with water, and we're going to pop that on the stove and bring that to the boil. Now we're just going to let that go, bring that to the boil. Once that's brought to the boil, we're just going to drain off a fair bit of that water, cover it up, and just let it absorb. It's just a really quick and easy way to cook rice, and pretty foolproof as well. Over here we have just a pot of boiling water with a bit of salt in there, and we're just going to blanch our broccoli and cauliflower in there slightly before we throw that in the pan with the rest of the stuff. So with that, I'm going to put the cauliflower and the broccoli into the water and just let that blanch for about 2 minutes, because we don't want it cooked all the way through, because it is going to go into the pan and cook down with the rest of it. We just want to soften it a little bit. Right, so once we've got the rice going, and we've got our cauliflower and our broccoli going as well, we're going to get some onions and some other stuff into the pan with some curry paste. We're going to start cooking down and making the real, the base of it, the real sauce, all the flavour. So just get an onion. You can slice it or dice it, it's up to you. I'm going to go slice. Chopping those bits off. Always handy just have a scrap bowl in the kitchen where you're at, and make sure your knife is nice and sharp. If you can't get a really nice sharp knife, get yourself a serrated knife, so a big long serrated knife which never goes blunt, if you can't be bothered sort of sharpening your knife a lot. So I'm just going to peel off. Always peel off the first layer of the onions. Just with growing and so forth, there's a lot of pesticides that can get through the first couple of layers of onions. So if you can get rid of that first big layer, you're going to do yourself a favour. So we're just going to have two nice large onions, and that first layer off again. I'm just going to slice these down. So you sort of get it as fine as you can. Don't have to rush, you can just take your time. But obviously the longer you take with onions, it can burn your eyes a bit more. So if you can get it done a bit quicker, you're going to avoid crying all over the place. those onions chopped. I'm just going to get the frying pan going. Get that on a nice high heat and just get a bit of oil in it as well. Just some veg oil is fine, olive oil is great. But it's sort of up to you what you've got in the cupboard or what you can afford. Obviously olive oil is a bit more expensive. Just some veg or canola oil will do the trick. Just dash more of that in there. While that heats up, I'm just going to chop up a bit of zucchini as well. So I've washed these zucchinis down. Always make sure you wash your veg when you get it from the markets. And a nice little tip as well, guys, if you're looking to just save a bit of coin at the markets, go to your local fruit and veg or go to the central markets and hit up the second stores. The veg might not look as pretty, but you're going to save yourself a lot of money and you're going to save that veg from going in the bin. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with it, and really good for cooking down. Unless you're going to be presenting it on a plate really fancy, it's fine. If you're going to be cooking it down into a sauce, then some second veg is totally fine. So just going to get some zucchini and just chop some nice strips of it in. Still crying from the onions. Okay, that pan's nice and hot, so we're just going to pop the onion in there and start cooking that down. Obviously you want to hear the sizzle when you hit the pan. If you don't hear the sizzle, wait up, hold off for a minute or two till it heats up a bit more, and then hit it. So that's going to start cooking down. We're just going to wait till that onions will start to go translucent a bit, and you'll see it sort of soften down a bit as well. Once it's softened down, then we're going to hit it with some flavour. While you're here, just check your rice, give that a stir, see if that's starting to boil yet. And the cauliflower and the broccoli, we're going to take that out. There we go, blanched cauliflower and broccoli. We're just going to put that aside. Use that for later. Move around the onions a bit. Get those cooking evenly. Checking that rice again. Once that's started to boil, it's just starting to bubble now. It doesn't take long at all. Once that starts to boil a little bit more, I'm just going to empty a bit of that water out. While that's all going, we'll just get a bit more of the zucchini chopped up. Now with all these veg as well for the Thai green curry, you don't have to have these ones. Anything that's sort of seasonal, on special, or anything you just prefer as well. Some carrots, some pumpkin, some Asian greens, some bok choy, all sorts. It doesn't really matter. That's nice and chopped. That rice is just starting to boil now. So I'm going to take that totally off the heat tip most of that water out. I can actually hold it. So right there, I've just drained off that excess water. Just left with the rice, a little bit of water in the bottom there. I'm just going to pop the bowl on top and let that sit to the side, and that'll sort of just continue to cook as we're doing the rest of it. Now the onions, you see it all starting to soften down. Through, so we're going to add our paste. So depending how hot and spicy you want it, it's up to you. I would say it's about 4 nice sort of heat, 3 or 4 heat tablespoons. Get that right in there. That's going to be all that amazing Asian flavour. With that, I'm just going to add some coriander root as well. So I'm just going to get rid of the bits down the bottom, and then just these bits here, just nice and fine. This is where all the flavour is, right down to the bottom of the coriander stem. The leaves are great for the garnish, but don't have as much flavour. If you can get it through the stem and down towards the root, that's where you're going to get a lot of the punchy coriander flavour. And I'm just going to whack that in there and let that cook down with the curry paste. Stir that through. Add some zucchini. Probably chopped a little bit too much. We just pop that to the side. Use that for another recipe. Now, next up, we've got the coconut milk and coconut cream. You can use either or. Obviously, the cream's a bit thicker. I like to use a mix of the two. So, just coconut milk in there. And some coconut cream. You just want to get enough in there just to get a good coverage, so it comes right up to the top of all the veg that's in your pan. Let it stir through. That paste to get through all of there, all that flavour. Now we're going to let that cook down. Before we let it cook down, we're going to put a bit of fresh lime juice in there as well. You can use lemon or lime, it's up to you, whatever you've got. Got some limes here that I need to use. Just when you're doing the lime, best way to squeeze the lime, push from the outside and just turn the whole thing inside out. Really scrape it in there. It's fine if you get some lime segments in there, it's all flavour, it's all healthy. It's going to be a one lime for now. And we might hit it with some more lime later once we taste it at the end. Stir that through. Now you notice I'm not adding any salt. I don't want to add salt until the end. I just want to get all the flavours in there for now. And at the end, if I want to put some salt in and just elevate those flavours a little bit, I can then but at the moment I'm just sort of building a canvas. Salt is just there as a flavour enhancer, so we just want to get all the flavours in there now and then enhance those later. Once that's all cooking down, we just want to check the rice again, have a quick look at that and see that that is all cooked through. So all that water that was down, that little bit of water that was left in, it's all just absorbed the rice. The rice is puffed up, and that's pretty much spot on rice. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pop that into the fridge just to stop it cooking. And while this is still going. So basically what we're doing now, we're just cooking this down, cooking the liquid down to let it get a little bit thicker and thicker, and it's up to you how thick you want it. If you don't want it really, really creamy, then sort of stop it early. But I'm going to say that's probably going to have to cook down for about 5 to 10 minutes. We'll check the thickness, throw in our cauliflower and our broccoli, we'll add some fresh herbs to it, pop it on top of the rice, add a bit of tofu, and that'll be it, guys. We'll come back to that soon. So guys, don't waste your time while this is cooking down. Just do a bit of a clean up, obviously, of what you're doing, because at the end of the day, once you finish cooking your meal, you don't want to be stuck there doing all the dishes at the end of dinner. So it's nice to kind of get some stuff done while it's all cooking down. Then you can kind of eat your food and relax, rather than cleaning, because no one likes cleaning. Okay guys, that's been cooking down for about 5 minutes now. It's just starting to thicken a bit. So at this point, I'm going to throw the tofu. So I've chosen a firm tofu. You can use the silken tofu, medium tofu. It's entirely up to you how hard you want your tofu. Tofu's there, just that extra protein. If you are going to be eating a plant-based diet or eating plant-based meals, try to get a bit of protein in there as well. If it's in the form of tofu, or if it's in the form of tempeh, if it's in the form of some beans, some legumes, so forth, lentils, get anything in there that you can. The more whole foods you can eat in your meal when you're eating plant-based, the better, because you really do want to have that protein in there for energy. So yes, you've got tofu, cauliflower and broccoli. We're just going to bang that all into the pan now while that's still reducing. Nice amount. And putting all this in now as well, when you've still got a little bit more time to cook down, that sauce is going to soak into the broccoli, into the cauliflower, into the tofu as well, and it's all going to come together and really thicken up. So just for the tofu, just crumble it in with your hands. Get some nice chunks in there. Right, now that's all in there, just give that a nice stir, incorporate that all in. overfill your pan like I have, and make a bit of a mess. Okay, now that's all cooking down. We're going to give that probably another 5 minutes. Not even. And that is it, guys. I'll show you. I'll plate up what I've got in the tick. But basically, the rice is all ready. Curry's all done. Super simple, super healthy, and quite cheap as well. So yeah, I'll show you the finished product very shortly. It's just a nice spoonful of the jasmine rice. And with the rice, guys, you don't have to use jasmine rice. I just like it. Use any sort of rice you want. You want to go a bit of brown rice as well for some extra help. With jasmine rice and the other rice as well, you can add some coconut to it as well if you like that coconut rice through it. You can also cook it down with some hard spices like some cinnamon, some star anise, or you can cook it down, instead of water, you can actually cook it down with some vegetable stock or some chicken stock or beef stock. It's up to you what sort of stock and how much flavour you want through the rice. With this, I've got so much flavour going on in the pan, I don't really need to worry about that. So you don't want it too thick with the curry. You're eating this with a fork and a spoon as well, so a little bit of soup down the bottom as well. But just letting that all out. Nice mix of the veg, tofu, nice bit of curry sauce over the top. All done. I'm just going to get a bit of fresh coriander. You can use anything. If you want to get any other Asian herbs like Vietnamese mint, Thai basil is a beautiful one. Any of those really aromatic Asian herbs go really, really well. I've just got a bit of coriander today. There's so much flavour going on there already with the paste. It's, don't have to worry too much. I always go a nice big handful of the coriander. Just bang that on top. Be stirred through at the end. A little bit of fresh lime. And guys, that's it. Little Thai veg tofu green curry. Super simple, healthy, cheap and delicious. Enjoy.